that annoying food that has to go in your kid's head hole all like 3 times a day. Your home is a business. You're running a business there at home, and you're trying to minimize costs, sure, but there's no wages in home. But so anyway, this is why there's inflation, and this I had to rewind this 3 times. This is the president's understanding of the things that affect inflation.
So you didn't have people making those beams that went into buildings because they were out. The factory was closed. The panic also disrupted the global supply chain. Factories close. When that happens, it takes longer to make goods and get them to the warehouses, to the stores, and prices go up.
He clearly didn't write it himself. He's reading someone else, but he's kind of onto it that, when production slowed down, there was a lot of people with a lot of money chasing after stuff we used to be able to just buy. So, of course, the price went up. He's getting close there.
This would be called supply and demand?
I think it's supply and demand.
Break out the econ books.
Yeah, you're mispronouncing.
Cars last year. 1/3 of all the inflation was because of automobile sales. There weren't enough semiconductors to make all the cars that people wanted to buy.
He's right.
And guess what?
Yeah, well, I say automobile jokingly, making fun of him. Automobile. It's now become a habit. I hate it.
Vehicle.
It's a car. Just say car. And we were at eating dinner last night, and my daughter said, "Hey, can I grab the keys? I have to get something out of the car." And I said, "Yeah, this." And I've been showing her, and I said, "Remember, this one unlocks the automobile." And she just looked at me like, "What are you, 90?"
There weren't enough semiconductors to make all the cars that people wanted to buy.
She said cars.
And guess what?
Monkey butt.
Prices of automobiles went way up, especially used vehicles as well.
Not kidding.
And so we have a choice. One way to fight inflation is to drive down wages and make Americans poor.
What?
Explain. What point is he trying to
show your
get
work
at there?
Yeah, quiz. Show your work. That's not one way to fight inflation.
And so we have a choice. One way to fight inflation is to drive down wages and make Americans poor. I think I have a better idea to fight inflation. Lower your costs, not your wages.
No, that's how. I don't know where to start with this. Let me play that again. This is his idea of fighting inflation: is that business should lower its cost, not wages.
Better idea to fight inflation. Lower your costs, not your wages.
Of course, every Democrat applauded, and any Republican who can't do math or has never done business. Again, just a quick reminder. Let me ask Mohammed, Cindy, Clayton, and Jagdish. Hey guys, are wages a cost? I'm just. He really does believe that. It's really weird that it's all. They're all external factors or something. And by the way, never, not him or Jen Psaki, none of them have ever acknowledged that they have flooded the economy with free money. Just like they've added a graveyard shift to the National Bureau of Engraving.
But the narrative that progressives have come to propagate is this idea of the big bad corporation, and that they can make any choice at any given moment to either help workers or hurt workers, or help consumers or hurt consumers. And it's these people in these big ivory towers that have their fingers on the button and then can at any moment do this or the other thing to either inflict pain or to greatly help people. Yeah,
because, in their world, it's those millionaires and billionaires, like that corporate fat cat that owns Piroshki, and has had to close one of her locations because the cost of doing business is too high because the city that she costs. Labor is a cost in my world. So there you go. Half of you are fired. There, that's how we cut costs on sound effects here at KTTH. Okay, this is funny. AM 770 KTTH. I just tweeted this out. I'm looking at video of. Oh, by the way, Brian Suits here, producer Greg in there. A video of 2 John Deere tractors in column. The first one is towing the second John Deere, and they're both towing a Soviet-era Russian Army Tor M2 air defense system. that has been. It sounds like this. It's the sound of 2 John Deere tractors pulling this. And in all probability, there's somebody within 5 miles, 1 mile of this incident who was a tank driver in the Ukrainian or even Russian army. But, I mean, this is, I can't emphasize how blown away I am by this. This is a super high-value system, and the Russian army just walked away from it because there's a mechanical issue, and nobody in the crew can fix a mechanical issue. So they said, let's leg it. And
I also saw a video this morning, a Wall Street Journal reporter tweeted out of a Russian enlistee or conscript being fed food and drink by Ukrainians, and he's crying while they're connecting him with his mom back in Russia. He can't be much older than 19 years old.
And to their credit, the Ukrainians know, they these guys that are coming, you see the way they're treated in these video interrogations. You'd be pissed if someone invaded your country, right? But they know better than anyone else, besides the Russians, what a clown show the Russian army can be, or being enlisted, being drafted by them is. And they're doing the right thing. They're handing guys tea and bread and a wool blanket, and the whole thing. And it's because they also know it's a super powerful propaganda weapon. Here's 2 other clever things, by the way, that they've done. This is sort of a new paradigm in war. The Ukrainian intelligence hacked the Russian Ministry of Defense, and they have the entire roster of 120,000. They have the names and ages and hometowns, enlistees and conscripts of 120,000 Russian soldiers that are either in Ukraine or part of the second tier invasion.
And Ukraine hacked them? This wasn't something like Anonymous did?
UK intelligence is just saying they have it, that they have the list. And then the other thing they're doing that UK intelligence is doing that's brilliant is because one of the things that I do in open source intelligence is there's a couple aggregate sites where they go out and they grab video that people, Russians and Ukrainians, have uploaded, TikTok or whatever, and then they geolocate it so you can just click on a symbol on a map and you can see that video. It's astounding, because you don't have one super trained 007 who can only see what he can see where he is. So you have this way better picture of what's going on if you know what you're looking at. So the Ukrainian intelligence has set up what's called a chat bot for everybody in Ukraine, and you can report the locations of Russian army units. You can take pictures and upload them. You can take one picture and say, I didn't get the other 7 T-72B3 tanks, and all, but you can. The Ukrainians are crowdsourcing real-time intelligence. It's astounding, and this does not require drones or anything. Just cell towers or internet, which is the connective. I was blown away a week ago when this started. I was blown away at the end of the first day that connectivity was still up, because the vaunted Russian way of war is to take that down. Well, they didn't do it. So
also nice to see President Zelensky still tweeting this morning. Just a minute ago, he said had a phone conversation with Prime Minister Naftali Bennett of Israel about Russian aggression. I hope. With all these conversations Zelensky is having, that these leaders of various countries are offering more than just solidarity and words of support. Do you think anything concrete is actually coming out of these many conversations?
I hope so. In the case of Israel, they have a lot of splaining to do, because they were virtually neutral for 72 hours or so. But the reason, and this is, I don't want to get too complex about this, right. But the reason is because Israel has a gentleman's agreement with Russia in the skies over Syria, and it's when we're doing Israel-Iran stuff, back off, and the Russians do, and the Russians part of the deal is just call ahead. Call ahead when you're going to drop bombs on the Damascus airports. We can clear out all the Russians. Well, the Russians ended that deal right before this, and so the Israelis were like, "Oh crap, what do we do?"
And the Israelis probably weren't too happy at the bombing of the Holocaust Memorial site in Ukraine within the last 48 hours, which made international news.
Yeah. So there's that.